Starting. We are now live. Now we're live. Yeah, it was a little delay. So what's up? My name is Jordan. Introduce yourself, Chase.
My name is Ash. I'm just kidding. My name is Chase. People don't even know who Ash is at this point. I don't even know who Ash is at this point. But yeah, thanks for having me, Jordan. And we're gonna talk some big things today.
We are. We're going to talk Hereditary, and if you could not tell by the title, this is going to be spoiler heavy of Hereditary. So if you have not seen the film, do not watch this unless you don't care about spoilers. Then welcome. But if you want to see this movie, you should care. Exactly, you should absolutely care. This is a movie you definitely don't want spoiled for you. So I think disclaimers are done. Introductions are done. Let's get into this. Where do you want to start with this movie? I mean, there is so much to unpack.
Sure. Where do you want to start? I guess we could talk about expectations, which is something I'm going to drop a video about this tomorrow, but something I brought up where there's a lot of movies that come out of Sundance that get hyped up, and some of them live up to the hype, and then a lot of them don't, just because they've been hyped up for months. And Hereditary was one on my radar for a couple of reasons. One, I'm a massive horror fan when horror is done right. I think there's 90% of the horror movies that come out are bad, but like that 10% is like what I'm a huge fan of. Like when I get a great horror movie, like I praise it so much because like I think to actually scare somebody is such an achievement. So good horror movie puts on my radar. A24 is another huge reason. Who say what you want about A24, I'd argue they're the best distributor right now.
It's a very good argument. Very, very, very good. And diversity. Their films are so diverse.
They have so many different kinds. They have a movie for everybody, which is awesome.
Exactly.
So, and then Art from the ATZ show tweeted this was A24's best horror movie. And that rings my bell because I'm like, listen, I know I love The Witch more than everyone else on this planet, but like when I say I love The Witch, like The Witch is like top 3 horror movies of all time for me. Like it's like The Shining, Funny Games, and The Witch. Like I was that blown away by it. So I was like, there's no way Hereditary could be better than The Witch. Then I watched Hereditary.
And you're like, fuck.
I'm like, I still love The Witch, but it's like you like that one kid more. You like your one son more than the other son.
Yeah, always.
I like Hereditary more. And it's I don't know. I haven't loved this movie in such like a movie like this in such a long time. Like Brigsby Bear I loved too last year, but like it's so good.
It is. Like my expectations honestly, we kind of view horror movies the same. I don't watch a lot of horror movies. I'm very picky when it comes to horror. But the ones I do watch are usually great. The great things I hear, and the trailers are very interesting. So I sat down and I heard the hype. You know, I heard some people were saying that this was the best horror movie since Exorcist, which is high praise. I sit down and watch this movie, and I cannot tell you how terrified that third act made me.
Oh yeah.
The entire film is just it gives you this feeling of dread led by the acting and the atmosphere. And then once that third act hits, once spoiler talk, once the dad gets lit on fire.
Dude, that was sick.
I have never seen, again, I don't watch every horror film. I have never seen scares done to this fucking perfection. Like to me, this is horror movie making perfection. Like done so good. And it blew me away because I was expecting it to be good because of the trailers, but I'm not a big horror guy. But I'm gushing about this movie, like walking out of it. I've only seen it the one time because I'm not brave enough as you. I have not gone back to see it again. But yeah, just from the opening shot of the houses, of the porcelain houses being shown is just sets the tone. And from there, and so what do you want to? What scene stuck out to you the most? Like what's the one shot that you'll never forget?
One shot, Jordan. There's like 10 shots. That's the problem.
You're right. There's like 10 shots.
All right, I'll say the first shot that blew my mind. So I guess if you combine the things I'm afraid of the most, it's old people. I genuinely think old people are terrifying for some reason.
Too.
There's some cute old people out there, don't get me wrong, but like a majority of them, like I don't know, I just get sussed out by them as like suspicious. The second thing is when I was afraid of the dark as a kid, the only reason I wasn't afraid of like monsters in my head. I was afraid of thinking I saw things that I knew weren't there, but like you're kind of in that dream state where like you could barely see something, and then you like kind of come to the realization it's nothing. This movie does that so many times, and the first time they do it with the grandmother in Tony Collette's room, like the workshop.
Yes,
dude, that terrified me. From that point on, I was like, all right, I'm strapping in. This is gonna scare me, and it did.
I agree because it's done. He does it in a way that most horror movies don't do. It's all silent. Like normally, when I see a shot like that, it's like a jump scare or it's like a and then she turns on the light and then there's nothing. Every shot that you just talking about, like where there is a shadow and you look and you think, and it's a wide shot and you think you see something and you squint in and you're like, holy shit, and then your body just fucking tenses up. So many shots like that, and the grandmother scene is definitely one of them. The biggest one to me that I will never forget, as the biggest like scare, is whenever Alex is the brother, Alex Wolf, Peter's the character's name, when he's laying in bed, and it's just a wide shot of his room. And it stays there for so long. And I was watching it. I was like, okay, this is bed. And then I see the white outline of her clothes in the corner. Dude, like I could, my stomach like turned so bad. I was stuck in my chair. Like I could not believe that. And I slept with my TV on last night too.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, during that shot, I actually saw it immediately. I don't know what it was. I just saw, like, it was one of those things, like, I went like this with my eyes because I was like, is that something? I was like, oh, that's there. And I went with my sister and my friend. I'm like, you guys see that? They're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yo!
Yeah.
Yo, like, that's insane. So, and I think a lot of people won't think this movie's scary because, one, they just won't see the scares. Like, the shot after that when he's in the living room, Peter, and, like, the mom's like behind him, blurred out.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
That's like he racks focus into the mom at one point, and then one goes like, oh, like she just noticed it. I was like, how have you not noticed this entire time? But that's the thing. I think a lot of people are genuinely just not gonna. It's not like it's a problem. Like I could understand why someone wouldn't notice it if they're not like paying attention, but the movie rewards you for like respecting the movie. If that makes sense. The more you like analyze it, the more you pay attention to like all the details. Like it's insane. So I think that's why I love about this movie so much. It respects like the horror audience. Because like I said, with the grandmom shot, you kind of mentioned it how like any other movie, like it would show the grandmom and she'd be like, "Mom," and then the next shot's the grandmom like jumping at the camera, like screaming, and then she turns the lights on. This movie doesn't do that, which makes it 10 times scarier for me. Because you just know there's something lingering around the entire time.
I agree because it creates this. Like you said, there's no sound, and it creates this like realism. I know that sounds weird because we're dealing with demons, but how many times in your life, think about it, how many times in your life if you're alone at your house or you're alone in your room or wherever, and it's dark, and you see something and you take a double look.
And you find your grandmom's body in your attic.
Exactly.
Happens all the time.
Happens all the time. But like just the shots where like the shot where he thinks he sees Charlie and then the head roll, like her head. Oh my god, we'll talk about her head in a bit. But when it rolls off and the basketball, so many times where you look in the corner of your room or somewhere and oh yeah, that's nobody, or not nobody, but nothing's there, and you walk away. And that's what I appreciate about this movie. It treats the audience. I don't want to say smart because that sounds pretentious as fuck, but it like you said, it rewards you.
Smart.
It is smart. It's
aware. It's aware of what this movie defies expectations. Like I kind of had I threw out the drawing. So check out my video tomorrow to see the worst drawing of all time explaining this. But going back to the shot where the grandmom's in the corner, but the second time she's in the corner, like when he's in the living room, and any other movie, like he hears her. Any other horror movie, mind you, that kid turns around and looks at the grandmom. This movie, he looks the other way. And you see a scarier, older, naked guy in like the shadows smiling. That's what makes this movie great. Like they defy expectations at every single way they possibly can.
I agree. And one of my favorites, one of my favorite things that he does in this movie is, well, here I'm gonna use this to start talking about the scene that is burned in my memory for years and years and years, no matter how many times I don't see this movie. Whenever the girl gets her fucking, as Art said in his video, Sleepy Hollowed. Whenever you see the,
I haven't seen the video, I don't think yet, so I have to watch that. That's great.
I laughed my ass off when he said that, but the way that he tells that scene is so great. I'm talking about after it happened, after you hear the thud and you see Alex Wolff just terrified, and he doesn't look back. He does what you like. You were thinking.
I mean, I haven't been in that situation, but that's probably what I would do.
That's probably what I would do. Like, he just goes home, goes to bed, and then the whole hearing the mom get up, tell her husband bye. You hear
so good.
I've the way he chose to tell that, just anybody else would have just turned around and freaked out, which would have been fine. That would have been fine if he would have freaked out.
Yeah, but it would have been basic.
Exactly. It
doesn't bring it to that masterful level.
I agree. It's storytelling in a horror movie that I don't see often. Again, I don't watch a lot of horror movies, but it stuck out to me in a great way. I love the way he told that scene.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, like they do it so brilliantly where like usually they're setting up this little girl, right? This is all going back to the like defying expectations. That's what makes this movie great. They're setting up this little girl to be like the Insidious kid. Like you would think the Naked Brothers Band kid's gonna die first, then the dad, then like the mom, and then the kid like survives and is like this demon king.
Yeah, this evil.
But instead, they establish like, oh, you're allergic to nuts. Oh, you're allergic to nuts. Like they make it so obvious, like any other horror movie would. So then she eats something with nuts, and you're like, oh, okay. Like it's still suspenseful. Like this girl's choking. She's having an allergic reaction. It's pretty scary. But she doesn't make it to the hospital. No. She gets decapitated while struggling to get the smallest breath of air. Who thinks of that? And delivers it in the first 20 minutes of a movie.
I was speechless. I was absolutely speechless. My entire row like gasped at that part. Like I could not believe that. Even in the car when they were driving, even when she stuck her head out the window, I still wasn't thinking to myself, "Oh, she's gonna die." Yeah. Not until the shot of the post is where I went, "Oh shit!" And then you just just wax clean off.
So sick.
And great use of foreshadowing with the chocolate. I know they make it obvious, but I thought it was great. I didn't think it would lead to her death. Like I didn't think that it was foreshadowing her death. Like you said, in the first 20, I thought this girl was gonna be like necessarily the Demon King, but I thought she was gonna be the key to it. Like at the very end, she was gonna be the key to it, and in a way, she was. But to kill her off in that fashion that early on was just great. Was just great, and it had to happen that way. I think if you want to get into the ending a little bit, I think the grandma, I think she not planned it that way, but I think she wanted the girl to die. Like I think she needed.
Oh yeah, because they wanted the male body the entire time.
Exactly. I don't know how. I don't know if she had a way to deal to. I don't know if she had a hand in her death at that particular moment, but I think that definitely needed to happen.
I think she did for a couple of reasons. One, so this is coming from someone that saw the movie twice, so this is why I picked up on more things. I think. So starting at the very end, where like after he gets possessed and he goes up into like the treehouse, whatever you want to call that thing, and you see there's like the statue with the girl's head on it. Next to it's like a bird, and the bird's like the same kind of bird that flies in the window and dies, and she cuts the head off of. So I guess like that embodies like the real soul in a way, or something. So then when the grandmom dies, the bird dies. She cuts off the bird's head, so that's how she dies. She loses her head too. And on the telephone pole, I don't know if you noticed, the symbol of like the cult is on the telephone pole when they're driving to the party.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, I didn't know it either. My sister pointed out, she's like, "Oh, it's a sign." I was like, "What?" And like, it's kind of hard to see, but like you look at it, you're like, "Oh yeah," like it's engraved in the telephone pole, like that sign.
That's awesome, dude.
That's what I'm saying. That's why this movie delivers on second and third viewings, because like you won't catch that the first time sometimes, and then you'll go back. You're like, oh my god, like I missed that. Like that's insane,
dude. You're making me want to see it again. Like I want to see it again, but I think I really do. I think I have to see it again pretty soon because I did not know that.
That's fire. It's awesome.
I did not know that. I also didn't know the scene transition that we talked about earlier with the old people standing outside. If you want to talk a little bit about that, I don't know where they were. My friend just pointed out to me.
Okay. So this is gonna be funny to a lot of people. The most terrifying theater experience I ever had growing up was Paranormal Activity 3 because it was a full theater. I think it was like the first like horror movie I saw in theaters for some reason. Off the top of my, or at least the most memorable is like whenever that movie came out, I saw it with my friend. The ticket person was like, "Oh, you can't get in because you're not 17." I forget how old we were. We were probably like 14 or 15 around there. We're like, man, like this is beat. So we got my dad to like buy a ticket. My dad like walks out, so we just sneak in. Like we put our hoods up, trying to blend in. And we're watching Paranormal Activity 3, and the last 15 minutes of Paranormal. Have you seen it?
I have not. I have not seen Paranormal Activity 3.
Okay. So I wouldn't really recommend the Paranormal Activity franchise for a variety of reasons. One's kind of good, like it's enjoyable. 2, I forget. 4 and 5 and all those skip.
Dude, I lost count of how many.
Paranormal Activity 3, the last 15 minutes are genuinely some of the best horror filmmaking out there. Because it's kind of like this, where it's like you find out this grandmother was manipulating the 2 kids, and she was part of a cult. It's very similar to this movie.
Okay.
And like at the end, like all these old people in hoods are like popping out of nowhere. You're like, what is going on? Like you're blown away. And it was terrifying the way they handled it. This movie brought that fear back into me. When there's a cut in this movie, and the more I think about it, the more it might be the best cut in a movie I've ever seen, is it's after the father dies. Like, and that's another thing about this movie. Things are just flying. Like, time is just changing all the time, and you're like, it's hard to keep up sometimes. It's overwhelming. But it's after the demon like possesses the mom for like 5 minutes of the movie, probably, and she like smiles, and it cuts to the outside. It's like afternoon-ish, and then it jump cuts to night, and there's like a dozen naked old people scattered around the front lawn, everywhere, and I was like, what is going on? The first time I saw it. I don't know how you didn't see them. There were so many.
I don't know either. Like I remember.
Maybe you were still in shock from the dad.
Probably. I remember because it's so funny. I remember that exact shot and thinking in my head, that was a really cool transition. Mm-hmm. And then I brought it up after, and then my roommate was like, yeah, did you see the old people standing around? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, there was a bunch of naked old people standing in front of the lawn. And I was like, what the hell? I did not see that. I did not see that. So I get another reason, attention to detail that I have to see.
Dude. Shots, there's just so many things that make it scary. Like the light, they don't even like establish it. Like the light that's like a motion tracker. So like when the kid wakes up, like the light just goes on, so you know people are like walking in the house, and you're like, oh my god, this is so sick. Like it just built tension so well.
So well. I think I said this in my review, and I believe it. It is some of the best build up to its third act I have ever seen, or at least in a very, very long time in recent memory. I mean, just Toni Collette, which needs to get nominated for an Oscar. I know there's a lot of year left, but if Daniel Kaluuya could get nominated and Get Out in February.
Dude, that's exactly what me and my sister were saying.
Like, she can get nominated for this in June.
I'm never like one to be like she has to be nominated more, because like I just expect disappointment at this point. But I don't see any actress topping this year. She was incredible.
Incredible. She makes you feel different emotions completely, because on one hand you're sympathetic of her because her family life is just tragic to say the least.
The scene at the like the therapy circle thing.
Oh, so good. And then almost in the very, I can't remember if it was the next scene, but it wasn't long after that, in the dinner table scene, where if she gets nominated, that monologue is going to be...
that's what's showing up on that screen.
That is what's showing up on that screen. She makes you so fucking terrified before she even gets possessed. She makes you so scared to where my mom is going to kill me in my sleep. Like, if I'm Alex Wolff, I'd be worried for my life if I saw that screaming at me. Then he throws it in her face at the, why did he do that? Like, I love, he was
that's literally poking the bear with like a stick. And I was like, bro.
Don't do it, man.
I was like, you better go find your brother and start touring the country, man. Like, you gotta do something.
You got to do something because she will kill you, and she's not even possessed yet. She will kill you. I disagree. It's just the way it builds tension. How Toni Collette's character just gets further and further away from sanity throughout the movie, and as her character gets further away from sanity, the tension just rises and rises with it. Until the dad died, which I was not expecting at all. And
when that happened, I was like, there's no rules anymore. Like, anything's going to happen.
Anything's going to happen. Anything is going to happen.
And then it ends up being like, dude, the whole cult thing, like, if that doesn't scare, like, it doesn't have to scare you. If that doesn't make you feel uneasy, like, the entire last, like, especially the last, like, 2 or 3 minutes, like, you might have to, like, check yourself into a mental hospital.
I agree.
It's disturbing.
It is some of the most disturbing imagery I have ever seen in a movie. And then the first time it cut to the thing that the cult's praying at, I didn't notice it was the little girl's head, and then it cut to it again. I was like, oh my God, that's the fucking head. That is the fucking head. I was like, that is the fucking head. And then even before that, whenever he's in the attic, and Toni Collette's just
cutting her head off.
Cutting her head off. And I was like, this movie, oh my God, like, what are you trying to do to me, Ari Aster? What are you doing to me?
Dude, have you watched an interview with him at all?
I have not.
He's like the quietest, shyest white dude like ever.
That's even scarier. Holy shit.
He's like, yeah, I just wanted to put toxic in people's brains. I was like, oh my God, you did it, dude. I was like, do it again. Like, I'll take another one, please. Like,
hell yeah. Don't give this guy a gun, though. But yeah.
This is his first feature movie, which blows my mind.
Me too. I cannot believe. Oh, shit. Oh, you are, I can't hear you anymore. Your volume's off. Yeah. Oh, shit. You can hear me. Okay. All right. So, yeah, Hereditary. Spoiler. We're minus excuses for technical difficulties. Oh, there you go. You're back.
Good?
You're good. You're good, bro. You're good. So finish your thought, my friend.
What thought was I on? I just like blank.
We were talking about well, you had just said that you can't believe that is his directorial debut.
Oh yeah, like how just so many directors would kill to make a movie like this, and they've made like 8 or 9 so far, and this guy made 1 feature.
Exactly,
and it's like a masterpiece.
And it's it's insane how he was able to do that, and how old is he? I know that shouldn't matter, but he's
young.
He looks young.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick.
For him to make a film like this, and just think about, I know this sounds weird because it's about demons and this shit, but how much research you think went into it for him? Like, I want to know that. Like, about this king. Yeah.
I read somebody wrote the script like 8 times. Like this is like the 8th draft of like a cult script that he was working on.
Dang.
I guess I'm kind of biased because like cults are just like super terrifying to me. I can't find out how old he is. He might just be like part of the cult and doesn't age or something. But like, dude, cults are like kind of freaky to me just because like, yes, there's like a supernatural element to it and blah blah blah, but like part of it could be real if there's like extremists out there, you know, like
exactly.
It technically could kind of happen, which makes it so much scarier than say A Quiet Place. You know, I thought A Quiet Place was a solid movie, don't get me wrong. It's a very like really good studio horror movie. But the difference is like, you know, it can't like really happen. You know, like maybe it could happen. There's a possibility, but it's way less likely than like being sacrificed by a cult. Seeing your little sister's head on a stick of like a Satan doll
while you're possessed by said sister. That's just, yeah. It's like it brings again. We're talking about like demons and shit, but it brings some, like you're saying, some sort of realism to it because there are cults out there. I don't know if to this extreme off the top of my head, but
yeah, probably. Just don't hear about them.
Exactly, but these are like human beings doing this shit, and I truly believe in this. I believe in demons and stuff like that. And that's why it terrifies the shit out of me. Because I believe that shit exists. I don't know to this extreme, but I believe in ghosts and stuff like that. I do. So when I see something like this, it just terrified, like just bone chilling, just absolutely bone chilling. Yeah, it's just Hereditary. Go see it if you haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what else. Like, I mean, we could talk about things everyone else talked about, but like everyone else started talking about, like cinematography is incredible. Like every technical, like the sound, music is terrifying. Sets up the atmosphere so well. So
well. The sound design is amazing because I like how it's building up, and then as like he uses that to transition, the sound cuts when the scene flips, and it's amazing. Like it's just loud and it's silence. One of my favorite transition is when it cuts to Alex in the classroom. That was really good. What did you think about the head banging on the desk? What did you think caused that? Because honestly, I don't know exactly what was the cause of that. And then the smile in the reflection, in his reflection.
I think it was just like that was after the seance, right? Or seance? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
I still don't get like the entire, like I think the rest of the family had to die, and it was just like because that was after Joan shows up at like the schoolyard and she's yelling at him.
You're right. I forgot about that.
That's her like conjuring the spirit, like getting the rituals started, I guess. So I guess because she's the one talking at the end too, like how she summoned this demon from hell.
Yeah,
and she's the one that's gonna get crowned with all the riches, like the grandma did for conquering the daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, for opening that for opening the demon portal, as I guess you would say, whenever they did the seance.
Dude, the movie's there's so many like lines of dialogue too early on that are so brilliant. Like when the mom's talking to the daughter and she's like, oh, like the daughter's like, who's gonna take care of me when you die, blah blah blah. And then she's like, oh, like you were her favorite. She's like, she wanted me to be a boy. Like that. I was like, yo, like
good foreshadowing.
There's very few times I want to see a prequel. I would so buy a ticket to the prequel where the grandmother and the daughter just like hanging out.
Dude, I would too.
Dude,
I would too. I want to see more of the grandma. I want to see what is all that whenever the daughter walks out and she sees the grandma kneeling by the fire.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. What is like? I want to see what more was she doing in her free time. You know, what was she doing when I don't know. I would buy a ticket to see a grandma. Adventures of grandma and little girl, creepy little girl chopping off birds' heads.
There's some people saying there could be a sequel to this, which would be interesting. I don't know if I'd want it. It's like if there was called like Inherited, and it's the kid like adjusting to the world.
Oh, like Alex, like Peter.
Yeah,
like Peter. I could see that because like the girl is in him, and she seems like she can still like. She made the noise, like whenever he got possessed. So,
dude,
that'd be interesting. Like if she started a family, like if she just I'm a demon inside this kid, but you know what? I'm gonna start a family. I'm gonna start a family and do my make a good living.
It's funny to bring up like that. Because both times I saw the movie, like after she did like the first 3 or 4 times, and after she dies and she does again, like there'd be random people in the corners going like, like both its showings. There's like like all over the place, and I was just like, yo, you guys gotta chill with this. Like, it's freaking me out right now.
I'm glad we're talking about that noise because it brings up another really big positive I have. There are certain sounds in the movie, and that's one of them where it sounds not echoey, but it sounds like it's coming from in the theater behind me. And there was a shot where Toni Collette was driving, and you hear the randomly, and it's so faint that it felt like it was in the theater, but she reacted to it.
Yeah,
so like
exactly.
It was in the movie, but it was so faint. It sounded above me, behind me, and it's just, I don't know how. Like, this movie, I don't know how it is as good as it is. I really don't. Like, I can't believe that I love a horror movie as much as I do after watching this movie. I never thought I would see I love A Quiet Place too, but this is something else. Like, just a whole different.
I haven't seen anyone dislike it. Like, even people that don't like it as much, like, I haven't seen one person be like, I don't like it, except Grace Randolph, but Grace Randolph kind of just like does her own thing for attention a lot of the time. But that's a different video for a different time.
I agree. I will not comment too much on that because I have not good things to say about Grace Randolph. But that's not, like you said, different video, different time. I haven't seen anybody that disliked it either. Well, now Grace Randolph apparently doesn't like it. But I don't know anyone that dislikes it, and I'm not kidding. Everybody on my letterbox that have seen this film is not. It's 4 stars is like the lowest one that I saw. I know Ash loved it. Our buddy Ash loved it. I tried to get him on, but I think he was working.
He's always working.
Yeah. I would be. What would you rather, a prequel or a sequel with the grandma?
Probably neither. And I mean, like, at the same time, though, I trust this guy. So, like, if he wanted to do a prequel or a sequel, I'd definitely watch it. Just because I think if there was to be one by him, he would have a good idea for it.
Yeah.
A part of me is more intrigued by the prequel because the grandmother seems so interesting, even though she never says a word. She's just like, she probably has a total of 10 seconds of screen time, but she seems so interesting to me that I think a prequel would be cool.
I think it would be too, especially it would give more context to the naked people. I think, even though the naked people,
if it was like the cult side of it, that would be interesting.
Yeah, just like her starting the cult.
Yeah, like all these people competing to get like the demon to enter a body first, like that. Even if it's not Hereditary, like a movie like that would be cool. From the perspective of a cult member,
especially if it's done by the same guy. I'd do it. I'd watch it. I'd for sure watch it. So Hereditary. Anything else? Anything else you'd like to add?
I can't really think of anything. I mean, it's great. I feel like you will be watching this point in the video if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, you probably thought it was great too.
Probably. And if you have seen it, let us know what you thought and what shot fucked you up the most. Which one was like, you know what, this guy really wants me to see me squirm. What was that shot for you?
The grandmother. The grandmother, like faintly in the background. I was like, oh my god, like that was because that's the first big scare for me too. I was like, this is setting the bar for like the next 2 hours.
Oh yeah. The most heart-wrenching, like gut-wrenching scene was the car scene where where she gets her head off. But the shot that got me the most was the bed shot that we talked about earlier when it was above the bed. I still can't get that fucking shot out of my head. Like I can't. Like that shot has prevented sleep for me of the last few nights.
I'm sure Ari would be happy to hear that.
So yeah, Hereditary, dude. If, like you said, if you haven't seen it, I hope. I don't know why you're still watching this, or if you're watching this if you haven't seen it. But if you have, let us know what you thought of it. And that's pretty much it for me. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks for guys for watching, and I will see you later. Take care.
Peace.